Courtney Laughlin, I am so excited about these special deliveries you sent us.
Sent.
And by sent, I mean delivered by hand with a pretty bow and everything. What's the backstory on this?
So actually, you guys are the ones that kind of got me into this. Ted Lasso, TV series on Apple TV, Jason Sudeikis. It made me feel all the things. I don't want to say necessarily it was a sports show. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to watch it. Basically, an American football coach is hired to go coach a soccer team in England. It literally made me laugh, cry. I was angry. I was sad. And it made me feel all the feels, but all happy at the end of the day. Probably one of the best shows that I've watched in the pandemic since in the last year. And in it, there's this really famous part of and it's a theme that kind of goes throughout the entire series where Ted Lasso bakes his boss biscuits, and he does it to kind of butter her up and to get her to like him. And there's a whole storyline of why she hires him. But it became a trend and a theme throughout the entire series that Ted Lasso would have biscuits with the boss. And it came out that he baked these biscuits, and she would ask him every morning, "Where are you getting these biscuits? They're incredible." And she just absolutely loved them. And Tommy, we have a clip of Biscuits with the Boss of Ted Lasso giving the biscuits to his boss of the soccer team.
Biscuits with the Boss is not something that I have time for this morning or ever.
So am I Rebecca in this analogy, or is Kelly Rebecca in this analogy? I'm fine with it either way, to be honest.
No comment. I'm just going to ignore that one. Okay. So he does it to butter her up, right? To get her to soften a little bit because she's a little hard and she's edgy and she's running this professional football team over in England. So over the weekend, I saw that People magazine came out with a recipe for biscuits. I don't know where they found this recipe, if it's the recipe, because Ted Lasso does not ever reveal his secret recipe of the biscuits. He says, "It's my secret. I'm not going to share it." So People magazine, they're exclusive. They shared their recipe of these biscuits or cookies. They're basically shortbread cookies. And so I thought, what better way than to try to make these biscuits and send them or drive them, hand deliver them to the bosses. So to you guys, and I will say this, I have to give credit where credit is due because it was not entirely my idea. My mom, Linda, we were sitting around and she found this article. She was like, "We should make this biscuit." She's like, "Wait a second. Biscuits with the Bosses." She's like, "You're always looking for things to talk about, some fun things to talk about." She's like, "We're going to make these biscuits and we're going to bring them to Tommy and Kelly." I was like, "We are?" She was like, "Yes." She's like, "We are. If we have to hand deliver them, we will." So very simple recipe. Her and I baked several batches actually, because it was actually really easy. Probably one of the most simplest things that I've ever baked or cooked or made in the kitchen. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients, 5 ingredients, butter, flour, sugar, vanilla, salt. So
nice.
Yeah, and you beat it for 45 seconds, put it in the pan, bake it. It's honestly this most simplest thing, and I feel like it's like anybody can make these amazing.
Sorry, Locker, I hit the video. All right.
No, that's okay. No, this is great. So here we are making the biscuits. Yeah, they're literally you don't overbeat it. You don't over mix it with the mixer. Literally 45 seconds, mix it all together. Put it in the 9-inch by 9-inch pan. Pat it down. And then we have bake it for 30 to 35 minutes so they're golden brown. Let them cool for an hour. I feel like that was the longest part because you're like, how long? Is it an hour yet? You just want to eat the darn things, right?
Let them cool for a whole hour. My goodness. I don't know that I can wait that long.
Of course, the spatula. And so after we made them, my mom and I, we had to deliver them and the mail wasn't going to bring them to you guys. So yesterday we took a little drive from Annapolis, made a first stop at Tommy's, and then drove to Georgetown to deliver them to Kelly. Now, Kelly,
I have been one week all day, right?
So, Tommy,
in there. I'm ready to go and open them up.
And you said yesterday, you're like, I'm actually not going to eat them till tomorrow, right? You're like, I'm going to save them for the show. Kelly, what happened to you?
Well, what had happened is that we had a nice dinner with the family, and the box was just sitting there, and it was so cute, all wrapped up, and I didn't have any dessert for the children.
Oh, for the children. Oh my.
And Ted Lasso was one of the few shows that I could enjoy with my almost 17-year-old son.
With the children.
Yes. And so we did break into them. You can see they were eaten. And
Oh.
since the box was already open this morning when I was having my coffee, and since they do like kind of, go well with a cup of coffee, I'm just saying I had one this morning. I will tell you, I don't usually eat in the morning, and if I do, it's something a little bit more healthy. It is sitting in my stomach like a lead brick right now.
So did you dunk it in the coffee, Kelly? These
No.
smell fantastic, Locker, by the way.
They're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can taste the butter like oozing out of them.
Oh my God.
I mean,
This is
It's
incredible.
butter.
you know what
It's
it reminds me of too? My mom makes a
Mm.
lemon bar, and she makes the crust from scratch, and it tastes a lot like that too.
Mm-hmm.
The flour is just a delivery vehicle for the butter.
And the sugar.
It's so good.
But I do want to bring up one thing. I
oh
did
my Lord.
get the shortbread delivered. Thank you. It was great to see Courtney for just a few minutes.
It was.
But I also
Oh
got this.
no! Now you're spoiling all my secrets.
I got a Laughlin special
Okay.
delivery, and finally, where is the camera? The Clamato drink that you speak of from Canada.
I hope that this does not give the message that Kelly is indeed the boss, because Kelly got more cookies, because I had an equal amount for both of them, for both Kelly, you, and Tommy. And then I was like, wait a second. Kelly has a house full. I think Kelly deserves a couple more, because it's not just the two of them. And then, yes, with the biscuits, I gave Tommy the new Locker 18 IPA from Asland, but I did not give him the Caesars. So Kelly, now you've just like spoiled all of my secrets, that I gave you more biscuits and I gave you more alcohol.
And
so,
I got two of these.
I could live and die and never have Clamato. I'm fine with that.
okay. Whew, okay.
I mean, the other one's already gone.
This is good.
Because by the time that Courtney got to my house, I'm like, you know what? I've exercised today. I've been a good girl. A little Clamato. Let's do it.
Are you having
So-
biscuits and beer, Tommy?
Yeah, biscuits and beer, the British way. I'm very proper that way.
Huh. Okay.
Oh my gosh, he is having a beer. That beer, it's 7.5% alcohol.
You are.
It hits you. You drink a can of this beer, you're like, okay.
Just a heads up. Okay, thanks for the heads up. Kathleen wants to know if you pricked the shortbread before you baked it.
No, I did not. Literally just scoop it out of the mixer, put it in the pan, and just pat it down.
Rookie mistake, I guess. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Oh, shoot.
I'm gonna let Kathleen get in on that one.
Hmm.
Sounds like
Yeah.
her Aunt Maggie's recipe from Scotland.
Oh.
Well,
I
shortbread is very, British.
Locker. These are so freaky. I'm gonna have to like spray these down with Ajax. So I don't eat the whole box today. These are so good.
Tommy, I
Oh
feel
my
like the
God.
recipe's like foul proof though. Like 5 ingredients, you can
don't wanna
totally
know.
do. Oh. Okay.
I have no willpower. My husband's gonna find me at like 3 a.m. on a Saturday, like baking biscuits. They're so good. Oh my gosh. And you
So
put-
yeah, you could put like jam on, you can do all the things. So originally my mom and I were
Saltiness
like, we made one batch. And then after the first one, we're like, let's just like make a second one. After that, it was like 10:30. She was like, I think I'm going to make another. And I was like, well, I've already done my quota. I've already made the biscuits for the bosses. If you want to make more, that's fine. She's like, yeah, I think I'm going to make one more. Then I get up yesterday morning and I smell biscuits. I'm like, what? Are there more? She's like, I made another round. She's like, for everybody that loves Ted Lasso, she's like, I decided to make some more biscuits. My dad brought some to Joe B yesterday at the arena. She dropped them off at my brother's house yesterday. I guess it's like a thing now. So it's Biscuits with the Bosses. This
I
is going to
love
be like
that.
our thing.
That's so cute. And that's so like Italian Mamma Mia thing to do. Like, I'm making it for everybody.
I was like, we just made 3 batches. Is that not enough? She's like, no. She's like, Kyle needs some. Your dad wants me to make some for Joe B. And I was just like, okay. I was like, well, I'm out. Like I've
It's so
made them
funny.
for Tommy and Kelly.
Your dad is making beer on the weekends. And then your mom is making biscuits.
Sounds
Beer and
about right.
biscuits. There we go.
Beer and
Um,
biscuits.
Real talk, Courtney Laughlin. You should find some way to mention these delights on your dating profile.
Oh.
Because,
Okay.
my goodness.
Okay. I didn't know they were that good. Okay.
Hockey royalty. I've got a master's degree. I'm really I'm fit. I'm in shape, but I'm pretty mentally stable. Also, I make biscuits. And wait till you try my biscuits.
Okay. First it was the mittens are attached, but I'm not. Now it's try the biscuits.
Yep.